Hey guys, Disclin Magic here, and I have got some crazy news for you. Seriously, I told people in real life and they thought I was kidding. And okay, I like to mess with people's heads by saying things that aren't true quite often. Come on, that's good humor, you guys. I'm a total prankster when it comes to that. But no, I am 100% legitimately serious about this. Eternal Masters is being reprinted exactly as is, like Control P, Enter, send it to the cutter. And once again, and I cannot stress this enough, for the 100th time, I doubt that that's actually how it works at printing facilities. So here's the word-for-word announcement from Wizards that just came out today. It's titled Eternal Masters Reprint. In an effort to surprise and delight both stores and players over the holidays, gonna have to stop there. Surprise and delight stores and players. That doesn't sound like anything Wizards has ever done in the history of the game. So my BS-ometer's at about 9 already. Let's keep going though. In an effort to surprise and delight both stores and players over the holidays, we're releasing a small reprint of Eternal Masters, which is for some reason in italics even though it's not the title of a book. I don't know, printed materials, I don't know, I'm not that into grammar. Here's what you need to know. It's a modest reprint, and I said that louder because it's gigantic and in bold. Whoever writes these, I think they have a long history of making like bake sale flyers. I'm actually surprised that this is all in the same font. We got Comic Sans, we've got Arial, and we've got baked goods. Woo! And then it says, our goal is to get Eternal Masters into the hands of interested players without distracting from Kaladesh or Aether Revolt. The size of the print run was chosen with that balance in mind. There's about 13 different reasons that that's not true, but I'll come back to that. You should reach out to distributors about ordering. Once again, all bold, like size 24. I'm going to read this exactly as their inflection was written. This printing will not be allocated by store level. Guys, guess which part was in bold? And you do not have to sign up for it in WER, which I assume is like the WPN allocation ordering thing. I really find it odd that the do not have to sign up is in bold, but then for it is not in bold. I don't get it. I really don't. Anyway, it goes on to say, instead, we're leaving it to distributors to allocate to their accounts. And then it says in parentheses, for stores in the US and Canada, this includes Wizards direct sales, which obviously violates the entire point of parentheses. If you think I'm getting petty here, no, I used to be a professional editor for a huge company. Oh, and also one of their biggest paid writers. Anyway, we hope you'll use Eternal Masters for booster drafts. That's why we put it in bold. Our new Eternal Masters is bold and spicy. Come on down to Chili's and order yourself an Eternal Masters. It doesn't really say that. I just had way the hell too much like caffeine today. I mixed Diet Coke with Diet Mountain Dew and M150, and I think I might have had some coffee. If I have one more drink containing caffeine, it will result in a 3-state police chase. Eternal Masters was specifically designed to be drafted. While we understand that this surprise reprint will make an irresistible holiday gift for many, we feel that each box represents an opportunity to host a truly special draft experience. Now, that is absolutely true. And we hope you'll earmark a portion of this reprint for just that. I think what they mean is they hope your store will do that, or your distributor, which neither one of them are going to do that. Pre-orders will begin immediately. Reach out to your distributor today, which I literally did today, like an hour after this announcement. So in this short announcement, there is so much good and bad and weird, I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start with the good. Okay, they got so much bad PR and bad press from the smaller stores and smaller sellers and single sellers because they would not give any Modern Masters from the Vault, even Plane Chase Anthology. They will not give any of that to non-WPN locations. And I kind of get it, but considering it's the absolute most money-making type of thing is the limited print run sets, cutting out single sellers, which are the number one most important sellers in the entire game and in the entire product, that could seem kind of dumb, but I kind of get it. If people don't have a place to play, then, what's the point? The whole game would fail, except for like the kitchen table casual people, but I think a huge portion of players started playing because there was organized play. What really goes on with these is FTV, which is a giant moneymaker sometimes, depending upon how they handle it, and all these limited print runs and stuff, they're guaranteed like 47% profit margin bare minimum. That is not nearly the case with a standard set. A standard set with most stores is like 10 to 30% profit margin, and honestly, it's closer to like 15 on average. So to take a really expensive set where each booster costs about triple normal and then also increase the margin on it to close to 50%, yeah, that is thousands of dollars rolling into a local gaming store. Now, the problem with this set was that it's no Modern Masters, and Modern is huge. I mean, Modern is blowing up. So Modern Masters, people want it. Eternal Masters, I know maybe 3 or 4 people that legitimately play in Eternal format, which is Vintage or Legacy. It's kind of dying a little bit. I mean, nobody has like real numbers on it, but that's kind of the word on the street is that there's less and less players. I heard that the number of like Eternal events kind of went down, and I think Star City Games just said they're going to stop holding Eternal or something like that. I don't remember. It's all just hearsay, and I'm not interested in Eternal at all as a format, so I don't really follow the news. But in general, it's kind of agreed upon that it's not doing amazingly, and the number one reason, hands down, no disagreement on this one, it's because of the no reprint list, aka the reserve list. Every single day there are less cards on the reserve list in existence. They get destroyed, they get lost, they get stolen, whatever. They get wet, they get damaged, they get ripped up, just whatever. So if you literally cannot find the cards to play the format anymore and Wizards will not print anymore, it dies. Simple as that. And on the way there, before we literally run out of the physical cards, long before that, they become too expensive for anybody to afford. So them printing EMA, when I first heard about it, I'm like, that'll be a disaster. Nobody wants it. I mean, yeah, there's some money in there, but, they're either going to reprint it to death where the point where, a $300 card is worth $3, or they're going to not print hardly any at all, but that'll kind of match the number of players, and then who knows what's going to happen. I didn't have a very good outlook on it. But it was pretty successful. I mean, the return was pretty decent. But that, of course, was because they printed almost nothing. I mean, no store could get anywhere near what they wanted. So I think that this announcement kind of stems from the fact that not enough Eternal Masters was going around. They were super, super paranoid about driving down the price of Force of Will and pissing off people that play the older formats. So they were very particular in what they included, what rarity they included it at, and then the total amount that they just released upon the market. And it didn't have really a huge, gigantic effect on the prices. In general, yeah, they did go down, but it wasn't like everything just crashed and it was the end of the world. But then I think they realized, okay, that was safe. Let's do it again, but perhaps in an even smaller run. Now here's where it gets weird. If that's true, if they were just like, we need to up the supply a little bit, and because of people hoarding them and buying a full box and then just sitting on it as an investment, not enough of them actually made it to the market. So we could safely do this, and we should safely do this, throw a couple more out onto the market. So just print it again exactly as is. If that was true, why the heck would they be telling everybody, every store, every distributor, all that they want it to be for draft? Well, one, nobody wants to do like a $35 draft. That's kind of expensive. And two, not everybody wants to draft cards that they will not use because almost none of them were legal in Modern. You're not going to draft Eternal Masters once and then say, well, I guess I'll get into Legacy and Vintage because now I have the cards. I mean, yeah, they're a good little tiny investment, and they look pretty in your trade binder, and you might eventually find somebody who wants to trade for them, and they are worth a lot of money, like, the $100 cards. But overall, it just seemed really odd, like as the draft set. Although, on the flip side, the same could be said about Conspiracy. A lot of those cards were not relevant in any kind of format that anybody cared about, like Modern, except for like Birds of Paradise, a couple like that. So the vast majority of the cards you pulled were not relevant to anything you'd ever use in the future, but Conspiracy was so fun to draft that people did it anyway just because. So I guess that's what they're going with EMA, but I don't buy that. I think what they were saying is stop selling whole cases of Eternal Masters to like one person, get it around there. If people want to draft, make it available for draft instead of saying, sorry, 100% of our boxes are spoken for. They're already on pre-order. So now we can't hold a draft. I had heard that happened at a ton of stores. I think it happened at my local gaming store. So yeah, they're saying, don't just go sell them all. Don't just cash them all in. You might want to actually hold a draft. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's the same amount of money. Per pack or per box, they're pretty much all sold for 10 MSRP. So, in my opinion, the fact that they didn't make it part of the WPN thing and they left it up to the distributors to just send it to whoever they want, That's pretty cool because my distributor had said, and this was completely incorrect, when I signed up for an account, he said, when it comes to like modern masters, for example, we can sell it to you, which that was the lie part. And we just base it on your past orders. That's how we fairly allocate stuff. So whenever we are allowed to allocate something however we want, we will do it based on past orders. So if I order $50,000 worth of magic cards every time, and then somebody next to me orders 25,000, I'll get twice as much as they do, and that's how they split it up. Well, that was allegedly, and then it turns out, oops, no, I was wrong. We can only sell Modern Masters to WPN locations, so screw you. I seriously don't know how they didn't know that, or if they were just outright lying to me. Very, very strange. Here is the problem. I don't quite understand the old system that much, or I should say the current system. It's not even the old system, it's just what they did last time. I don't understand that much because I'm not in the WPN, but from what I've heard, they have something called like the WER, which is the like thing where you log in and say how many you want, and they tell you how many you can get, and then you tell them what distributor you go with, and they send it to you or something like that. So it all goes together, and then you're like, okay, I go with ACD distribution, and this is what, I'm a gateway level store. Well, actually, you'd have to be higher than that. I'm a third tier store. And okay, I'll take the 6 cases of Eternal Masters that you can send me. Okay, go. So then when the distributor gets it, they have to send you 6 cases because that's your WPN allocation. So you're going to get what you are entitled to according to Wizards no matter what. But then on top of that, and most people don't know this, on top of the WPN allocation, distributors get another, couple pallets or whatever of the product called the distributor allocation. And it is huge. It is, as far as I can tell, as big or bigger than the WPN allocation. In fact, for Eternal Masters, it was way bigger. I don't have hard numbers, I just have rumors. This is all hush, 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 cloak and dagger, lie to each other BS. That's the distribution system that Wizards chose. All right. So the distributor allocation, you'd think, okay, they can do absolutely anything they want with it. Not quite. They are, from what I've heard directly from my distributor, they are obligated to sell X% of it to the or to stores. So they are allowed to take, 10, 20, 30, I don't know how much, some percent, and sit on it or do whatever they want to it or sell it to like another reseller, just to sell it online on their website. I don't know. They can do whatever they want with a certain portion of it. Now, how strictly that's enforced, I have no idea. I mean, what are they like? Did they get audited by Wizards? I doubt it. Could they just report their sales numbers and lie about it? Absolutely. So I don't know how many checks and balances are in there, or if they sneak into their warehouse at night and take photos and take an inventory and count and say, oh, you're holding on to too much. I don't freaking know. With how shady all this crap is, I really, really, really don't know. What I do know is that every leak ever coming out of an employee of a distributor says they hold a boatload of this stuff that they're supposed to be selling. Distributors might as well be investment companies because that's what they're doing. They're the number one investors in Magic cards. In general, allegedly, they lie about the numbers that they hold of pretty much everything. If they say they're sold out of something, they're lying. If they say there's only 10 boxes left, they're lying. What they really mean is we're only obligated to sell 80 or 90%, so we're sitting on 10%. We aren't going to sell it to you under any circumstances. Now, some of it, like if I go to my distributor, I can buy Conspiracy 1 right now. I don't even know when that came out, but it was a while ago. So they're being upfront with the fact that they don't want Conspiracy 1. It's not worth very much. So if you still want to buy a case of it, they will be more than happy to send it to you because they've probably got a whole room full of it. But Khans of Tarkir, not only did they put a limit on the number of boxes that I could order after a certain point, but now they claim that they're totally sold out, and they obviously are not. They're probably sitting on pallets of it. Hooray for fetch lands and investments. So what did they do this time? They bypassed the entire crappy, garbage, unfair WPN system and went in favor of a crooked, even worse system, or as bad. The distributor could just do whatever the hell they want. They literally said, we're leaving it to distributors to allocate it to their accounts. They could sit on 90% of it and sell 10 for all we know. I mean, maybe they're still enforcing the whole you cannot sit on more than X, you are obligated to sell X% of what we send you, but whether they do it or not, who knows? So the question is, with me not being a WPN location, but being like the size of 6 of them, as far as my sales volume, will they actually send me at least one box, not even a case, just one box of Eternal Masters. I'm setting my standards low, although I literally did just order $5,000 worth. But will that turn into one box? At least one box. That's my bar. If it's under one box, which would be 0 boxes, we're going to have a problem. If it's like 3 boxes, okay. If they want to pretend that it's that scarce and that short, whatever. It probably isn't, but at least then I got some. I've got pre-orders coming out my ears and it's been about 4 hours. So yeah, I want to get these into the hands of customers. No, I will not open a single box unless it's on camera and I can get away with it. I want to get them into the hands of people who want them. Also, I would actually totally hold a draft in my shop. Why not? So this has all the hallmarks of a massive disaster that's going to blow up in their faces. Their actual motivations versus what they said, who knows? I mean, as is the norm with Wizards, they say one thing and mean another, or they announce one thing and it's just misleading to make you think something. In general, I think getting more Eternal cards out there so more people can play the format if they want, that's a positive thing. And the fact that they're bypassing WPN and finally giving it to people like me, that's a positive thing. Their secret motivations for doing this, well, obviously one is, haha, money, yay. Like Eternal Masters sold out in like a day, so obviously they could make money if they print it again, so they're just printing money. You know, Born of the Gods sucked. They had to stop printing that. It was so terrible. So Born of the Gods, they did not make money on. They actually lost money because of how poorly designed that set was. So if they know Eternal Masters is going to make money if they print it, then they're going to print it. They're very strict on their policy of not damaging the game and overflowing markets, except for Conspiracy 2. But yeah, I think this one's more about money. I mean, everybody knows Hasbro's, breathing down their neck saying we want money, 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 more money, which is why they're doing things that in general just harm the community and harm the game. Like the whole treasure chest nonsense in MTGO. That is 100% a money grab. Transparent as hell. Putting, Expedition clones in the latest set, absolute money grab. It did serve a really good dual purpose of making standard cheaper, and that's great, but they just killed off probably half the single sellers in the entire world. Oops, but they don't print it for the single sellers, they print it for sealed product, which nobody ever buys and everybody just buys singles. It's like they don't even know how their own game works or how their own markets work. So like I said, a lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of weird in here. We'll have to see how it really turns out. The real question is this bigger or smaller than the first print run? It sounds like it's smaller, but they didn't actually say it. If you thought your store was complaining about not getting enough before, just wait until they start complaining about an even smaller print run, so I think that might not actually be true. And now you've got to split it with non-WPN locations. So, oops, you're not even guaranteed one box at this point. So this actually better be a really, really big print run because, like I said, it will be a miracle if I even get one box. If this is spread, 4 times thinner because most places are not WPN locations. So I'm very interested in seeing how this goes. But can we just stand back for a second and think about how unbelievably weird this is? Now, you guys know I've only been playing and following the game for like 3 or 4 years. I've never seen or heard of something like this. They're like, oh, this is a limited print run. Okay, well, however much sells and how much your store gets, that's it. We're never printing another one. We're going to suppress the amounts to maintain the card values, to up the confidence in you guys as players buying it. And then wait a couple months. Hey, we're printing it again, exactly verbatim. The one that we said is limited print run. Well, it's not. We're going to print it again. Why? Because we felt like it. We basically just lied to you. Does that seem a little strange to anybody? I mean, that's why it has all the hallmarks of a complete and utter money grab. But hey, who knows? I mean, this is so weird. I mean, it's almost as weird as what I put in the background of this video. In case you didn't catch it in the comment section, we got 1/3 of you complaining that it's a blank background, even though it's literally like a podcast. We got 1/3 of you complaining if I put X-Mage footage in the background of playing Magic because it's too distracting. And then there's another 1/3 of you that complain that I put gameplay footage that's unrelated in the background because then you don't really have to pay attention to it cognitively, but it's something to watch. And I think that leaves about 1% of you who don't give a crap. So you can all just fight to the death and come up with a consensus yourself. In the meantime, I'm definitely putting some weird frickin' Hard Reset Redux in there. Or is it redo in French? I don't frickin' know. So let me know what you think about this whole thing. What is Wizards really doing? What's the deep hidden conspiracy? What is really going on? Is your store even going to end up with one box? Are they actually going to sell it to people or hoard it? Which obviously Wizards is silently warning them not to do. And most importantly, do you intend to draft this set? That's what Wizards said it's for. I mean, that's why they're doing it, allegedly, which is obviously totally not 100% true. But are you actually going to do what they said and actually draft it? So let me know down in the comments section, and I'll see you guys next video. Oh, and now one quick special message to Gabby Sparts. Can you maybe keep your little liberal fantasy world that you live in away from us sane people? We want to hear about magic, not your chicken little nonsense about the sky is falling, okay? Shut the hell up or stay off of camera.